on to episode 31 of the Circle Back Podcast, the show where two great friends get together and just talk about video games. I'm Dan LaMarca. As always, I'm joined by Dan Dufrenoy.
Bonjour.
And Dan, we're going to kick it off like you know I love to.
What have you been playing this week, my man? And actually, we've been playing the same thing.
Yeah, we've been playing the same games for the most part. I will say briefly, I feel like I'm so close to the end of Yoku's Island Express, and I haven't finished it.
Okay.
But I jumped back in a couple nights ago, played like another 45 minutes, and I was like, man, I thought I was done. Let me get back into it, and it's, you know. So hopefully by next week I'll have final thoughts on that.
All right, cool.
But I know we both have been playing a game we talked about quite a bit last week, Vampire.
Yeah.
Vampire.
I'm not giving up on it.
Dan's not giving up. So where are you at? What are you getting any more enjoyment out of what you played, or is it still the same?
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Getting less enjoyment?
Not less enjoyment.
Okay.
But I'm still feeling the same about it.
Okay.
It's one of those things where, like, for me at least, it's like, you ever, like, all right, do you ever see, I'm trying to think. So, like, I know we're both big movie buffs, and it's like, you know when, like, you read about a movie, and, like, it seems like, oh my gosh, there's a story that I would love, that I am so into, I want to love this so much, and then you watch the movie, and you're like, man, like, I totally like what this is about, but I just
didn't like it.
Can't, like, say, oh my gosh, I loved it. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, sure.
It's early in the morning. I could be completely wet. But you know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel about this game, where it's just like, this is something, like, and we talked about it last week, and I thought a lot about what you said last week. I sat in my room and I contemplated, and I just thought, you know, what did Dan say about Vampire? And like, no, but like, you had a lot of great points, and like, I was like, yes, like, that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. I understand that better now. Like, so yes, I want to love it, but like, I just, for some reason, you know how we talked about like Fallout 4 and games like that, where it's just like, yes, it was good, but there's just something about it that like, it just isn't taking hold of me, and that's how I feel about Vampire. So I have played some more, but like, I still haven't been
that's fine.
Still haven't been bitten by the vampire yet.
Hey,
so
not bad. Not bad.
So I mean, what do you think? How far are you?
I still feel pretty much exactly the same. I'm trying to do things that I wouldn't normally do. Like, I'm trying to cause a little chaos in the sectors and see how that plays out and stuff. And it's been really, really fun to see. Yeah. Because, you play these kind of games that are decision games, and you want to be the good guy, and you always be nice to everybody. And it's like, let's see what it's like to do a little bit of this, especially because of the way the difficulty works in Vampire. I know we talked a ton about this game last week, so we're not going to harp too much on it, but I will say I'm really enjoying seeing some of those dominoes fall and like what happens. Yeah. It's really cool. That's my enjoyment.
How far would you say you are?
Maybe about 8 hours-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Something like that.
Gotcha.
It's definitely not a short game.
No, it's pretty long, I think. Yeah, I think I looked at some people said like 25, 30 hours.
Yeah. So, I'm just kind of putting in a couple hours a week, enjoying it, not letting it overstay its welcome with me, sort of deal.
All right.
But I know there's another game that we've both been playing.
Yes.
Mario Tennis Aces.
Yeah, Tennis Aces.
It just came out. Yeah, it just came out Friday, previous Friday, and I'm really enjoying it. My whole thing with this game is, like most Mario sports games,
right?
They're not super deep.
No.
They're fun to play with other people, and generally not as much fun to play solo. But what I have had fun with is the actual single player portion, where you're like kind of going through the gamut and doing these different...
The adventure mode?
Yeah, the adventure mode, yeah. It's been a lot of fun for me. I've been enjoying it. They do cool little twists, and some of them get kind of tough. But it's been enjoyable for me doing that. I don't know what kind of legs it has, because again, a lot of these games are like, hey, if you have friends over, if your sibling wants to play,
that's what it's perfect for.
It's like, then you're gonna have fun, you're gonna have a good time, whatever. But so far I've enjoyed it, but I definitely see some of the longevity issues.
That's the thing. I got it for my sister graduated high school, going well. So I got a bunch of gifts, and one of them was this, but it was also like a partial gift for both of us. Like, this is something we've been talking about, so I thought, let's just play. It's perfect timing. Like, I like it. Like, I really do. And I mentioned before when we were talking about it, like, there's something about the one for the GameCube. And again, it might have just been, I was like, 10 years old, whatever, and I just was really invested in it. But like, I really, really, like, I could play that game for hours. And this, me and my sister, we played for about a few hours. And I don't know, like, all I can really say is that I liked it. I do miss, the game. The games are very quick. And it's like, first to get to 7 points wins. And, I miss the 3-set games. I miss the actual scoring, the way that tennis is. Because this now, it scores them. And again, I think it's different in the adventure mode. In the adventure mode, I think they do it like... but I think when multiplayer, me and my sister played, it was like you go up to points. So it was like the first to 7 wins. I miss the, 15, love, 45, advance. Like, I miss that sort of, and like how it was 3 sets. Because, like, I don't know, like, you could win the first set, but then lose the next 2 sets. Like this, I just feel like every game's pretty quick. You don't really get a chance to...
The way I equate it is it's almost like a fighting game now instead of a tennis game because it is quick when you're playing against somebody, and there's a lot more... There's a little bit of depth to the actual playing of it. Like, you have the racket break.
Racket can break, yeah.
The racket can break. You have these special moves. You have this move that you only want to use that, like, it basically, like, blocks it back.
Right.
But you only want to use it on certain abilities because if you don't hit it at the exact right time, it can do a lot of damage to your racket. And you're juggling a lot more things, which if you want to play with those concepts, they're pretty cool. It's pretty fun. It really does give it a fighting game type of feel where you're like, all right, I want to, I know his move is like this. Let me block that. It gives it almost like a less of a tennis feel and more of a fighting game feel, which is interesting, but it's not necessarily what everybody's looking for, I'm sure. But yeah, I get what you're saying. The multiplayer mode definitely feels a lot less like tennis, and it's not as long, and you can't,
I know there's no...
decide how many sets.
Again, I really like it, but there isn't that, I remember one time, I think you hooked up a GameCube, and me and Scott, we were playing. Like, but there was that sort of, like, where you were invested, where you were playing a lot. I'm like, okay, like, we're in the last match, whoever wins. Like, I just felt different playing the GameCube version. I just felt like there was a lot more... I was more invested in the game. This is, like, it's so quick.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but, like, the game just goes really, really quick.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
I don't really feel like as invested, Right. There isn't any sort of showdowns, And like you said, Mario Sports, you get what you get, you're not, like you said, we're not expecting anything. But like even like games like, Mario Baseball, like I enjoyed that because like, okay, 9 innings, anything can happen. Like you really got to be strategic. This I just feel is just like, hit, special move, point. Hit, special move, point, and like I said, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I like it, but I don't...
I have a feeling that playing with... Once you get the feel of it, and if you play with, let's say you and your sister both get a good feel for it, you start to get pretty good. I think there is a little more depth than it may seem at the top. With the block move, with the racket break, you can sometimes play to break the racket rather than play for points, and that's interesting to have like a totally different objective to go after.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting. I don't love this game, but I'm enjoying it and having fun, and I think it's a pretty good game.
Honestly, that's how I feel. I just feel like it's solid. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Again, I think it'd be fun, break out with friends or something.
That's it.
Play a little bit.
Definitely. Yeah, come over, play some Mario Tennis.
Yeah, exactly. Game you've been playing, we talked a little bit about last week.
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit more XCOM. Not that much, but I'm starting to get the hang of it more. I enjoy it. Like we said last time, I know you're really, really into those games, and like they're new, those tactic sort of base games for me. So it's really just getting the hang of it.
Yeah.
but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot
still?
of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
All right.
Just learning now, all the mistakes I made, my first few playthroughs.
Right.
Where the objective is really more important than killing all the enemies, and like, just try to, be strategic and stuff like that. I like it. Again, like Mario Tennis Aces, I like it. It's good.
Very cool. I have been playing another new game that just came out last week, I believe. Jurassic World Evolution.
Okay.
So, initially, you look at this game coming out at the same time as Jurassic World.
And playing a licensed video game?
No, but you really think like, all right, what is this? Is this going to be trash? You know, movie tie-in game, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I started reading some reviews about it. It's like a city builder, kind of. Like it's like a tycoon-style game, roller coaster tycoon, but you're building a Jurassic Park. So that premise alone, okay, interesting. Is it any good? So reading some reviews, some people really like it, some people say it's okay, whatever. I was like, all right, I need to get in and try it. So the way that it sets you up, first of all, Jeff Goldblum voice in this game.
Oh, perfect.
And he's just something else. The opening of this game, when he goes through, they have this whole, like, he gives you the spiel about, like, what you're doing here and what you have to do. And it is just such a, like, casual read where he's just like, yeah, so, you know, this island over here is where you're going to be building. Like, he's just, like, just talking. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's trying to really be professional or anything, and it's so good. So that alone, I was like, all right, I'm happy. But then basically what happens is you get into, it's much more tutorialized in the beginning than you think it would be. Because a lot of these tycoon games are like, hey, get in and build what you want to build.
Right.
And this is kind of like, here's how this works, here's how that works. It's holding your hand through it. But the thing about this game that makes it interesting is there's a lot of different, like, almost game modes in this one game, because you can go into, like, a third-person driving angle in your Jeep and, like, drive over to the cage, you know, the cage that you have them in.
Actually, like the park that you built, you can drive through.
Yeah,
I like that. I like those
it's cool.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, you're actually driving in and, like, replenishing their food and, like, you know, checking on the dinosaurs, and if they can escape. Like, one of the early tutorial missions is, all right, we need to check out our security system. So why don't you let one of these guys escape, and we'll try to take them down. So you're letting them escape, and it's crazy to see, like, these T-Rex looking guys running over and just eating people, going crazy. But they escape, and you actually control a helicopter. You control the helicopter, and then you can go to aim mode and, like, aim a tranquilizer gun to try to put them to sleep. And then you, like, drop a flare on them, and then your evac team will come grab them and put them back in the cage. And it's,
so just to check security, we had a T-Rex eat a bunch of people.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of, you know, tongue-in-cheek, kind of, you know, like they know they're joking around. But it's interesting. The things that, so when I first started playing, I really, really liked it. I was like, wow, this is actually really cool. You know, like, it seems like there's a lot of depth here. And then there started to become things that started to frustrate me a lot. And the fact that nothing is automated can be really annoying, because then it becomes like sometimes you have a plate spinning game where it's actually fun to keep everything going, and in this it's like you're doing archaeological digs to get, so basically I mean there's a lot to this game that I'm not going to be able to explain here, because you know it is kind of a deep game, but you get these fossils that, depending on what dinosaur bone or whatever is in it, you get a, like, DNA percentage. So to start out at 0, you start getting it, and as it gets up, that percentage is how close you can mix them with the frog DNA, whatever, to make this dinosaur. So you're excavating, getting these fossils, and then filling up a meter. So if you're at 58%, you know, whatever dinosaur, Stegosaurus, then you can make a 58% accurate, DNA accurate dinosaur. So you're building that up because the people will come for more realistic dinosaurs.
So you can get your guy to 100, then
you're getting your dinosaurs up.
Build it and they will come, pretty much.
Yeah, but what you're doing is, to make the archaeological digs happen, you're going into a menu, clicking dig, and then going to another menu and doing something else. And then when that's full, you go in, click it, click dig, and then go do something else.
Okay.
And when it starts having that meter that you have to go check on all the time, and then other meters that you have to go check on all the time, you're in menus all the time, and you're like, what am I even doing here? Like, at a certain point, because it's like, you have to really, like, min-max these things, especially when you get to the harder islands, as you start unlocking them. You really have to be on top of your stuff, and it becomes, like, not fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's not frustrating, it's just... like it's a menu management game.
There's like too much going
rather
on.
than like I remember playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and being like, you know what I love? Getting more money to get these big roller coasters, strategically placing them somewhere in the park, putting a bathroom nearby for people to puke, you know, like doing all these little things. All right, I'm going to raise the price of my concession stand by 50 cents so I can afford the next new roller coaster that just came out, like whatever. And it's like you're having fun actually building the park. And for a game that has such a good premise of we're building a Jurassic Park, like have fun with it. Make these, like what I would love is like make these really cool habitats for them and these cool viewing areas where people can go and like, you know, different things like that. And it's more about like, you know, we're creating these better and better dinosaurs and that's fine, that's cool. And
it is not what you want from.
It's just weird. There's something about it that's like, what, like, why did you pick this to focus on? You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain, you know, the way I'm thinking about it. But all in all, I think the game is fun to an extent. I'm totally burned out on it. I don't want to play it anymore.
Okay.
But
what system is it for?
It's on PC, and I think it is on Xbox and PS4. I have it on PC though. But yeah, it's I think it's $50 or $60 too. So, yeah, we know how much Dan loves $60 games.
I don't mind $60 games.
No, but the thing I'll say in closing on this is I was having a lot of fun thinking it was going to become something that it's not. You know what I mean? It looked like, in the tutorialization, like it looked like there was some cool stuff there, and then it just started getting tedious and frustrating.
So what you're saying is it wasn't worth the $60?
Certainly not worth the $60.
It's okay to say that sometimes.
It absolutely is. The reason why I would say something's not worth $60 is because it's content light, not because I don't like it.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
That's how I would describe it. Because someone might like it, and it has a lot of content, and they're gonna love spending $60 on it. You know, that's my thought on it.
That's cool.
But that's gonna do it for what we've been playing for the week. I want to check in with you, Dan. In
Metal Gear Corner. On the notes in my phone.
Yes, it's on your phone today.
All right.
So where did we leave off? Do you remember?
Oh, what did we do last time? You met Eva.
Uh-huh. You met all the bad guys too, right? That was right near the end?
Yes, you met all the bad guys. Oh, yeah, that's what happened. We were at the base. There was the base where they're holding, I forget what the name of the base was, but they're holding, it's like the Golik of Granin base or whatever, where they were holding Sokolov, and everybody was there. All the wonderful villains. Anyway, so that was our mission, to locate Sokolov. He was being held in this lab. So our friend Snake infiltrates the lab, right? So Boss was there. Who else? All the rogues gathers there. What's the big guy? Vokalov. Vogan was there. Sorry. Vogan was there. So anyway, so you infiltrate the lab, and you're looking for Sokolov. And as you get in there, you notice all these like scientists, and there's like, you know, this like secret door. And Snake's like, oh, like Sokolov's got to be in there. And he opens up the door, and you find out that Sokolov was moved. So you did this entire, you know, we were talking about this before too, how like this game's very, very heavy on, like, it has a lot of story, but like it's very heavy on like combat, more than at least 2 was. So like to get to like a scene, it is like a bit of a chore. Like, you know, you have to do a lot of like fighting, a lot of, you know, sneaking around and stuff like that. And like I enjoy that. So you're doing all this, you're looking for Sokolov, you get there, and Sokolov is gone. They moved him. So all of that was for naught. But there's a guy there, and his name is Granin, and you meet him. And Granin talks to you. He's from Russia, and he talks about how he is the true genius behind Russia's machinery and weaponry, that Sokolov, he gets a lot of praise, but like, he's like, I'm actually the one that, designs all this stuff. I'm actually the true genius here. And he gives this speech on, how he came to build the Metal Gear. He talks about how, they were trying to build tanks, and he said that the most genius way would be to make a bipedal tank, and I'm, a Metal Gear sorts of kind of thing. And, I'm not sure, if we trust this guy, but he seems pretty legit in that he's actually the guy behind all of this, and I guess Sokolov gets sort of the...
Gets the praise.
For it. So this is the thing. So Granin is there, and he tells Snake that he's bitter because he was the leader on Metal Gear. He was leading the project. He was going to take care of it, but it was handed over to Volgin for some reason. So Granin has become an ally because, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So Granin doesn't like Volgin because he feels that his
he's being overlooked.
He's being overlooked, and now Volgin's the head of the Metal Gear project, and so he wants to help Snake. But the reason he helps Snake is because earlier when he first runs into Granin, Snake goes, "Nice shoes," and Granin gives his whole speech. He says like, "I'm not helping you because you're a good soldier. I'm not helping you because you're against Volgin. I'm helping you because of something else." Snake goes like, "What is it?" He was like, "You complimented my shoes." And so now they're friends, and he tells us that we have to infiltrate the Groznyj, and that's all the way across the map. You know how I love backtracking, but it's all the way across the map, through the jungle, through another lab, and that's apparently where Sokolov is being held. There we can find Sokolov, the Shagohad, which is like that Shagohad. What's that? That's the big plane thing, right? That's the weapon missile launcher.
Yeah, the Shagohad is
thingy. Yeah. And Volgin's there, and also assuming the boss is there. So that seems like that's the next big thing Snake has to go and infiltrate. So on my way there, I couldn't stop my playthrough without at least fighting one of the bosses. So I'm going through the woods, and Snake gets shot with like a big poison arrow. And then this guy freaking comes down like on a tree, and like he's climbing on the tree backwards, and he comes down, and his tongue goes like. And you find out we meet this guy named the Fear, and he's just so creepy. Like he crawls like this.
He's a character.
So he's like he's like this spider-like thing, and he's like I'm not gonna let you. You're gonna feel like what it really is to be afraid, kind of thing. And you go in this fight. And it's actually a really, really fun boss fight. So this is really, really cool. What I like about the Metal Gear games is like the way to beat bosses is like things that like you'd never like really like expect. So like he turns invisible and he's hiding in the trees, very much like Predator. Like he's in the trees, you can kind of only see like his outline, and he's shooting at you, and you have to try to shoot him, obviously. But you can lure him out because apparently his invisibility. Will lower his stamina, and when his stamina's gone, he needs to eat. And there's like trees with like apples like around, and if you shoot the apples down, he'll go out of camo and he'll go and find him, and then you can shoot him. So that was a lot of fun. It took a while actually because he keeps shooting a poison arrow, so you got to heal yourself because the poison will kill you and stuff like that. But I eventually did it. I destroyed the Fear. Nice. And I know that wasn't much, but that was my playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Well, thank you for the update.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for our Metal Gear Corner with Dan for the week. I look forward to seeing the next boss that you fight. You're working your way through. 3 is a little bit longer than 2 for sure. But I think it's paced a lot better.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about before too. I always feel like, I feel Metal Gear Solid 2, there was like so much to talk about. There's like so many things like happening. This like it's a very much more like I feel like very slow, very the jungle's kind of the atmosphere. Like you got to traverse your way through the jungle, and it's not that it's like an open world kind of thing, but it kind of feels like it's kind of got that Ocarina of Time feel where everything's still like directed, but there's still just so much to like explore and like try to getting from point A to point B. There's a lot more.
Absolutely, yeah, but that's that's why a lot of people like the game is number one for the characters, obviously, but going through a game that's pretty nicely paced, where it's like peaks and valleys throughout, is pretty nice. The end obviously ramps up like most action things, but I think a lot of the Metal Gear games are paced strangely. Yeah, and they're beloved for their story, their characters, or whatever, but not necessarily for the pacing. I think 3 is actually very well paced.
Yeah.
So
Big one fought the fear. One of
took down the fear.
Another boss down.
So who'd you take down? The pain and the fear?
The pain and the fear.
Okay.
How many more are left?
A few.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're getting there, though.
Okay. I know I got all I know is I got the old guy, the end.
The end, yeah.
Right, who sleeps until battle. And then I'm really interested in this one guy who's like, he's like a ghost kind of thing.
The Sorrow?
He's spooky.
Might be the Sorrow.
Yeah, he was spooky when you saw him. He came by to the boss and like he was like a ghost and he had red eyes and it was scary.
Could be someone else. We'll see.
All right.
I'm excited. So the main topic of what I wanted to talk about today is something that has been in the gaming news lately. Coming out of E3, I'll just set the stage for it.
Set it.
So Fortnite released on Switch during E3. It said you can play it right now, go download it, whatever. Obviously, that was going to happen. Good move by Nintendo, biggest game in the world. You want to get players on there playing your Switch. So what happened was people that played Fortnite on their PS4 went to go take their account to their Switch, and a message pops up, an error message that says, if you have played with your Epic account on PS4, you cannot play with your Epic account on the Switch. So what that means is these people can sign in as a guest, play Fortnite like normal. They can create a second Epic account, play Fortnite like normal, but they cannot take their cosmetics from the PS4 and play with them on the Switch. And a huge part of that game, whether you like it or not, is the cosmetics. So, people get these battle passes, they get the V-Bucks, they spend them on different skins, it's a lot about customization because it's a very vibrant, colorful game, and they offer you a lot of different skins and things that change the look of your character. So people were upset about that, and then it started bringing up the old discussion of why can't we play with people on different consoles, right? So this was a big thing back when Rocket League first came out.
Okay.
Because the whole thing was Rocket League could be played on PC, on Xbox, and on PS4. If you're playing on Xbox, you can play Xbox versus PC or Xbox. If you're playing on PS4, you can play PS4 and PC or PS4. You cannot play Xbox to PS4. Right? So initially, everyone's saying that kind of stinks, whatever, not the end of the world. Then a game comes out, a little game called Minecraft. When Switch comes out, they launched, it's a Microsoft-owned IP now because they own Mojang, the studio that makes Minecraft, and they put Minecraft on Switch, and it's also on PS4.
Okay.
Minecraft can be played cross-platform between PC, Xbox, and Switch. Not PS4. PS4...
Sony's being the wrench in the works on this one.
So, very openly, this was when Fortnite first came out. It was a couple months in. Epic accidentally flipped a switch that allowed Xbox, PS4, and PC to play together. This is before the Switch even was a factor.
Okay.
Flipped the switch. Oops, for 2 hours, everyone was able to play together. And then they said, sorry, it was an accident, we'll shut it down. So they did it on purpose, obviously, to say, we have this whole thing made already.
Like,
it's
why?
built.
Yeah, why can't?
The only reason this isn't happening is because of Sony.
I'm so confused. What?
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Okay.
But what I want to say is, Phil Spencer has been very open. Phil Spencer, the head of games at Microsoft, I don't know his official title, but he's like the face of gaming for Xbox. He has been very open about saying, hey, I would love to have cross-platform with PS4. It's not up to me. and he's trying his best not to throw Sony completely under the bus, but he's saying, we'd love for it to happen.
Yeah.
He's trying to be diplomatic about it, but he's like, it's not us, guys, trying to say that. So it has been believed, because Sony has never commented on it in the past, widely believed that the reason Sony won't do it is because they're way ahead. They have 80 million PS4s out there. Xbox doesn't release their official numbers, but people estimate between 40 and 50 million. So PS4 is killing them. Like, there's no denying that. So they're saying, hey, we want people to come to us and play on our platform. I don't want cross-platform because that might take away from...
Oh, you think...
Because they want people to... Hey, you want to play with your friends on PS4? Get a PS4.
Get a PS4.
So, obviously not a great consumer-facing move. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. Not great. But what...
When it comes to business practices...
Maybe it makes sense. I still don't think it makes sense. So now, the main thing that spurred all this on is... Nintendo and Microsoft had... So there was a tweet coming out from Nintendo. This was, Nintendo put this out June 21st, and they said, hey, at Xbox, since we can play together in Minecraft now, did you want to build something? Kind of trolling Sony a little bit. And Microsoft, they go back and forth. Xbox says, our bodies are ready. What are we building? And then Minecraft official account comes in and says, well, since you two seem so lovey-dovey now, why don't you try building something like this? And, an image of a heart in Minecraft. So they go back and forth for a bit.
Oh, it's true,
they continue to, comment on other people's saying things like, somebody comments on the thread and says, I love this, Xbox and Switch forever. And Xbox's official Twitter says, two communities gaming together. Obviously saying... What the hell, Sony? So, they're, joking around. They go back and forth a lot. So, what happens is, Sony releases a statement that says this. And I'm just going to read this, and then we can talk about it. They say, this is, I want to give a little bit of background. I'm looking at The Verge right now. We're just looking at an article that says, Sony issues weak response to Fortnite crossplay controversy on PS4 and Switch. So... they talk about the backlash, and Sony finally responds, and they say, we're always open to hearing what the PlayStation community is interested in to enhance their gaming experience. Fortnite is already a huge hit with PS4 fans, offering a true free-to-play experience so gamers can jump in and play online. With 79 million PS4s sold around the world and more than 80 million monthly active users on PlayStation Network, we built a huge community of gamers who can play together on Fortnite and all online titles. We also offer Fortnite crossplay support with PC, Mac, iOS, and Android, expanding the opportunity for Fortnite fans on PS4 to play with even more gamers on their platform. So, basically just completely ignoring anything Xbox related, anything Switch related, decides to not talk about that and just say, we have 80 million players. We have 80 million players, and people really like playing on our platform. So... Really, really, again, this continues the trend, and I want to get a little bit more into this specific thing as we go on, but continues the trend of Xbox being consumer first, player first. They have the Game Pass.
Yeah.
They have the backwards compatible thing where Sony's just releasing their old games to buy on their system. Xbox has, hey, if you owned this game on Xbox 360, now it's backwards compatible, you can get it for free.
Wow, yeah.
If you had the license with your gamer tag on Xbox 360, you download it for free. So it's been a trend for a long time now, a couple years now, where Xbox is slowly winning the hearts and minds discussion. And the problem is we see this over and over again. It's cyclical, where you had PS2 beating the hell out of the original Xbox, and Xbox became, hey, we're the good guys here,
Yeah.
And then it's flipped, and Xbox 360 sold way more than PS3 initially, and then Sony did the whole. Think about the launch of the PS4. I don't know if you remember all the hubbub, but Xbox One, when they launched Xbox One, they said, it was the whole always online console, and you can't share games with your friends because the license will be tied to your Xbox when you put the disc in there, right? And then Sony got up on stage for the PS4 and we're like, this is how you share a game with your friend. And they handed the game box over, and because they're like, yeah, like Xbox 360 was the big guy, but now we're the good guys. So
yeah, it's just been a constant.
But that's an
back and
argument
forth.
to be made because the guy who's on top always wants to be, hey, we're the guy on top. We don't have to change. We're winning. So I understand that aspect of it, but to a certain extent, I think that it's more about the people who are running business at the time. Like you had Don Matrick was the head of Microsoft for Xbox at the launch of the Xbox One, and he made some bad decisions, and that whole old guard there made some bad decisions. And Phil Spencer, once he came in, really has turned things around as far as like what people want.
Right.
So I kind of call BS sometimes and say more about it's the people. It's not because they're on top. Because I saw an interview. I'm a big Giant Bomb fan, but they have Phil Spencer on their E3 podcast every year, and Jeff Gerstmann basically asked him like, hey, like, do you think, because they're talking about the whole issue, like what we're talking about, and he said, do you think if you guys were in the lead the way Sony is, you would still be talking like this? And Phil Spencer says, of course I can say yes because I'm not in the lead.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is, I want his whole like platform of what he says he believes in is, I want our games and all games to be in the hands of as many people as possible. Mm-hmm. I don't, like, yes, we're not in the lead. He's basically saying, yes, we're not in the lead. Sony's beating us, but we're doing fine. You know what I mean? Like, we sold plenty of consoles. Our games sell really well on our platform. Game Pass, they basically, I heard him say, State of Decay and Sea of Thieves were both free for Game Pass. You know that because Game Pass is every first-party published Microsoft game is free for Game Pass. You pay the monthly fee to do that. He said Sea of Thieves and State of Decay both sold over expectations, even though they're on Game Pass. So what he's saying is, if we expected State of Decay to sell 1 million units, because, hey, it would have sold 2 million, but with Game Pass, maybe some people aren't going to buy it. They're just going to play it on Game Pass. And he's like, no, we sold more than what we expected, even though we have Game Pass. So, like, he's basically saying our games are doing well on our console. So we're doing all right. He's like, his whole thing is, I want to make the best experience for everybody, which is admirable.
Sounds super noble and super.
And of course, he's in a position to say that.
Well,
so I get it.
Yeah.
But you also need to really think about, you're almost being just as cynical saying that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because what if he was in the lead and also saying that? You know what I mean? Then we'd be like, all right, well, now we have nothing bad to say. You know, it's easy for us to say.
I mean, like you said with the PS2 and in the first Xbox, and then PS3, Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Like, what if next go around it just flops?
Xbox comes back because they're starting to win.
It just flops again. So I think it just seems to always be a battle between Sony and Xbox.
Well, now the interesting question is, do you think that this is going to be enough to push Sony to open their gates for?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think Sony, not that I'm a Sony fanboy by any means, but I just think so. I mean, you're thinking about the PS4 in general. Sony is just light years ahead. Sony can honestly do whatever they want, and
the problem, and again, the problem is, this is what happens to companies that get ahead and get cocky. Is at the launch of the next console in 2 or 3 years, whenever it happens, people are going to have so much goodwill towards Microsoft and so much ill will towards Sony if they don't start turning these policies around, that they're going to get behind early, just like Microsoft did at the beginning of this console cycle. So the only reason I think that we'll look back on this as the turning point, because Sony's not going to open their gates tomorrow, likely, But I think within the next year they will.
Yeah.
Because Fortnite is so big. It's so big. And if you're saying you can play PC, Xbox, Switch all together, and Sony's the odd man out.
Yeah, no, nobody's going to want to be
I
a part
just
of
feel
Sony.
like, that fandom is going to be like, what the hell is going on? Like,
and you think how many people play freaking Fortnite?
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody
It's
ever.
the biggest game in the world, so you're really, like, putting yourself in a bad position by being the guy that's saying no. Here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know when they're going to do it, but I feel like they're going to have to do it at some point. I just don't know how. If it's really that easy for Epic, where they can just flip a switch accidentally one day and everyone can play together, then what the hell are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, don't be ridiculous.
But also Fortnite's free, so like
it's free, yeah.
It's not like PlayStation's going to be losing any money off.
Right, and again,
other than like you said, other than the point that people are going to buy other consoles.
Well, yeah, that's the point, and the other point is they want you to buy the skins and the cosmetics on their console because they get a cut.
Right.
Epic gets whatever percentage of each skin sold on PS4. Whereas if they brought their Epic account onto Xbox and bought them there, then they're losing the money on that. So from a pure business standpoint, like a capitalistic standpoint, it's like you understand why they wouldn't want to do it. But they're starting to look really bad.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and I alluded to it before, when you have PS2 games coming, hey, that's great. Some of our favorite PS2 games are now available to buy on PS4 as like PS2 classics, $10. And it's like, yes, $10 for a great game is totally well and good, but look at what Xbox is doing.
That's insane.
But they're doing that for so many different games. And a lot of these games are coming free on Game Pass, even if you didn't have them. Like Knights of the Old Republic, one of my favorite RPGs ever. Free on Game Pass. Like, they're doing it in such a good way.
Yeah.
And they're offering so many different options for people. Where, like, if you're somebody that's like, hey, I don't play that many games a year, I don't need to keep up on every new game, I'm going to subscribe to Game Pass. And that is going to be more than enough games than what I play in a year. And you get a huge variety. They just put out Fallout 4 and The Division on Game Pass for free.
So that's amazing.
So it's like, if you're not the person that's keeping up with all this stuff, and you want to pay, what is it, $10 a month or something? I should check the price on that, but
no, it's pretty solid.
It's just such a good value, and if you don't want to do that, then you don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, to offer an option like that. PlayStation has PS Now, which you've experienced is not that good.
Yeah.
Right? The streaming quality can screw up. Sometimes it pauses. Certain games are totally unplayable when it's just streaming. And they're offering, like, comparable prices. Or you pay per game. Sometimes you pay per game, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to check the Game Pass.
I don't know.
Game Pass price. Yeah, what do you think overall?
I totally feel the same way. I feel like Sony should. Because, like, I don't know. Like you said, Microsoft seems like it's more of, okay, we're the console of, of the people, and we're, we're about the gaming experience, and that's like really noble and really admirable. And I think Sony should, personally, I think Sony should follow suit.
But what I'm asking is, do you think Sony should follow suit for Sony, or do you think Sony should follow suit for?
I think Sony should follow suit for just gaming in general. I just think that just makes so much sense. I think as like, as a community of people who enjoy video games, I think it would be a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I love that you didn't say gamers. I'm so proud
exactly.
of you.
I think it would be like I think it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I think that's just a great concept, right? Video games get a lot of heat, but right, video games can bring people together and build communities and and I think that'll be, a truly beautiful thing, getting everybody together.
Yes.
From a capitalistic business standpoint, it works in their best interests. Well,
I think it's too short-sighted, though. That's my problem. Is I still think for business reasons they should be allowing this because the goodwill of your consumers is a very valuable thing.
Right.
And if you're just looking at your bottom line, you're tunnel vision, right? You're not seeing the big picture.
Yeah.
And you're going to start losing. People already say Xbox One X more powerful than PS4 Pro. Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Sony's like, I don't care. Like, we made our thing, they made theirs.
Yeah.
They're not trying to win you back in any reasonable way. The only reason currently that PlayStation is a good place to play, irrespective of Xbox, is their first-party lineup is undoubtedly stronger than Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
And what Xbox is trying to do is build for the future by acquiring these studios like Ninja Theory, like Playground Games, like Undead Labs. They're building a first-party community because they know that Sony's been eating their lunch.
Uh-huh.
They know that, look at their lineup this year. Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, Spider-Man. They know they don't have answers to that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that. And yes, there are people that aren't looking for that, but there are a lot of people that are.
Yeah.
And we know that those games sell very well. If you look at God of War sales earlier this year, it's like, astronomical, the amount of copies that game sold compared to the install base. So Microsoft's like, we want that. We want those games not only to sell on our console to make money for selling. We want that here because we want to be the only place that you can play these games. So we want people, all right, if you want a PS4 to play Last of Us Part 2, we want you to also have an Xbox because you can't miss a game on our console, And they haven't had that in a long time.
Yeah.
They had that with the 360. Nobody will deny that. A lot of people love the Gears of War series, the Halo series. Like, they had a lot of good exclusive games for the 360. Xbox One came out decent in the beginning.
But it's hearsay. I can't think of any.
That's what I'm saying. Certain people like Sunset Overdrive a lot, and that's still only on Xbox. But what they're doing with releasing all of their games day and date with Windows as well is another example where some people would call them out. I think Sony would be an example of a company that would call them out and say, you're ruining it for yourself because now these PC gamers don't need to buy an Xbox because they can play them on their PC. But Xbox would say, we just want people to play.
Right, which is beautiful.
But in that example, they're actually living up to it because they're saying, we're putting it out the same day, PC and Xbox, because we know some people don't have Xboxes, and let them play.
That's actually really cool.
But that is cool, but that's why I'm saying you have this balancing act between why do we want to buy an Xbox? What games are there to buy an Xbox if I have a PC? And they're like, some people are just console players, and they don't have a PC, and they want to play it on the console. That's why they're going to buy our console. So, there's an argument to be made there as well. I just feel that they are doing so many things to win over the community that if Sony's not careful...
You think it's going to...
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to happen in this console life cycle because they're too far ahead at this point. But if they go into the next one like this, that's not good. But you can't... You look at the games last year, even. Now, Nier is coming to Xbox this year, but that was a PS4 exclusive. Mm-hmm. Persona 5, not on Xbox. Horizon,
not on
Xbox. And the only thing that Xbox really had was Cuphead. That was a really, really solid game that was only on
Xbox and PC.
Xbox, but I don't know, man. I think Sony's getting a little too
cocky.
A little too cocky. But the thing that I will say is I feel like they are going to give in on this because I think they have to. I think it's going to be a big mistake for them if they don't because a lot of fucking people play Fortnite.
No, it's insane. Everybody plays Fortnite.
If that army decides to go against PS4, that could be bad news for them.
Seriously.
So, we'll see. Any closing thoughts on this topic? Or
Sony, we as people who enjoy video games...
We the people?
Just want to enjoy games together with our friends.
That's right.
And my friend may not have an Xbox or a PC or a PlayStation or a Switch. Wait a second, then they can't play anything. Wait a second, okay, wait.
I think
what I'm trying to say is we all need to kumbaya, come together.
That's right.
Let's play games together. Stop being jerks.
The funny thing is, as somebody that owns all the consoles, I will, if I have a multiplayer game that I want to play with multiple people, I'll just buy it for both. You know what I mean?
Really?
Like, yeah. If I'm really into it, you know what I mean? Like, but not everybody has the luxury of owning both.
I don't.
You yourself do not. So, we'll see what happens. That's going to do it for this episode of the Circle Back Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you, Shelby White, as always, the man behind the scenes. Thank you, Dan, for being here with me.
Dan, thank you for being my friend, dude.
You guys have a great day. We'll see you next week. What's up, guys? It's Dan from Circle Back. I'm just here to let you know you can find everything that we do at circlebackgaming.com. If you just want the podcast, we're on iTunes. If you just want the video, we're on YouTube. So catch us either place. Thanks. Perfect.